Hello students, in this video the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation is being discussed. But before going through the whole chapter, I'd like to discuss about a few things related to this chapter which will make the topics easier for you to learn. So there are some terminologies which we need to revive again, and this includes the structure of the nucleus and the different components which are found inside the nucleus, and very importantly the structure of DNA and the terminologies which is used for the structure of chromosome. So let's begin at first by the term heredity. Heredity, it means the transmission of characters from the parents to their offspring, and this transmission is only called as heredity, and this heredity pattern, it is studied in a branch of biology which is called as genetics. Now for the purpose of heredity, the nucleus, it plays a very important role. What is a nucleus? Nucleus is the storehouse of the genetic material, that is DNA, and controls the metabolic activities within a cell. We know that every eukaryotic cell have a well-defined nucleus, and this nucleus, it stores the DNA material. Within the nucleus, these DNA materials, they are synthesized each time before a cell division process, where a mother cell can divide the genetic material into its two daughter cells, and that is why the daughter cells are also alike as that of the mother cell. So this happens for every individual cell in the body of living organisms. Similarly, we know that in case of every living organism, when they undergoes reproduction process, basically in case of all the sexually reproducing organisms, where the parents, they transmit the characters from themselves to their offspring, in this process also the nucleus, it plays a very important role. Now how this nucleus, it plays the part? This happens because of the synthesis of DNA within it. So let's learn what is DNA and how it is transmitted from one generation to the other, or from one cell to its daughter cell. What is DNA? DNA is the genetic material of a cell that expresses a character of a living organism, and it is made up of nucleotides. So this DNA, it is present inside the nucleus of all the eukaryotic cells as well as prokaryotic cells. But in case of prokaryotic cells, the DNA, it is a naked one, but in case of a eukaryotic cell, the DNA, it is enclosed by the nuclear membrane, and these are made up of some micromolecules which are called as the nucleotides, and this information, it is coded in the form of a linear chain, a double spiraled linear chain, and that is expressed in the form of a character. Therefore, it is said that DNA is the genetic material of a cell that expresses a character of a living organism. Now, this nucleotides, it is made up of nitrogen bases, pentose sugar, and phosphoric acid. The nitrogen bases, these are again of two types. These are the purines and the pyrimidines. Purines, it is divided into two micromolecules which are called as adenine and guanine, and Pyrimidine, it has cytosine, thymine and uracil. The purines and the pyrimidines, because of their ring structure, they are in two different categories. That is, the purines, they are 9-membered ring, and the pyrimidines, they are 6-membered rings. And these rings, as you can see in the diagram, CGAT, GC, TA, CZ, CZ. So in this way, they are arranged in random orders and they are bonded by some bonds which are called as the phosphoric bond and the another one, that is the hydrogen bond. Phosphodiester bond and the hydrogen bond. The phosphodiester bond, it is linked with the pentose sugar. Pentose sugar here is of two types, ribose and deoxyribose. For DNA it is deoxyribose sugar and for RNA it is ribose sugar. Therefore we call it as to be the deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, the full form, it comes from ribonucleic acid. So it have the two pentose sugar, 5-carbon sugar, and the last, as you can see in the form of circle there in the diagram, that it has a phosphoric acid. So this phosphoric acid and the sugar molecule, it acts as the backbone for the nitrogen bases, and this nitrogen bases, it pairs with cytosine and guanine. It always pairs with cytosine and guanine with the help of a triple bond, which are hydrogen bonds, and adenine, it pairs with thymine. That means a purine, it always pairs with a pyrimidine. So this is how the structure of a DNA looks like, and that is in the form of a spirally helical structure which are linear in shape in case of the eukaryotic cell. Now all this information, it is present there in the DNA molecule. What is chromosome? Chromosome is the physical carrier of heredity which is made up of DNA. A cell, it synthesizes or replicates DNA within the nucleus, and this DNA, it gets arranged in the form of chromosome. The part of the DNA that expresses a character becomes part of the chromosome, and that particular part, it is called as the gene. So a chromosome, it has two arms, and these two arms, they are called as the chromatids, which is connected with a disc-shaped structure which is called as the centromere. These chromosomes, they are formed during the cell division process, and it gets equally divided during mitotic cell division in between the two daughter cells, and during meiotic cell division, which takes place in case of the reproductive cells. That means those cells which gives rise to the male and the female gametes. There the chromosome, it gets reduced to half. As for example, human being have their diploid pair of chromosome, that is 46. So in case of meiotic cell division, the daughter cells will possess only 23 out of this 46 number of chromosome in each of the daughter cells. And in case of mitosis, if the mother cell, it possesses 46 numbers of chromosome, that is diploid in nature, so its daughter cell will bear 46 chromosome each. So that is the difference between the mitotic and the meiotic cell division in case of the distribution of chromosome. So this chromosome, it is formed inside the nucleus, and this is the aggregation of or arrangement of the DNA in the form of two chromatids. In sexually reproducing organism, during meiosis, in the parental mother cells, the chromosomes reduces to half to form male gametes in case of the male body and female gametes in case of the female body. So let's take the example of a human cell. A human cell, it possesses its diploid chromosome number as 46, and that means the parental mother cells which will form the gametes, it will have 46 chromosomes each. Now during meiosis cell division, this 46 chromosome number, it gets reduces to half, and the result of the meiosis cell division is the occurrence of 4 daughter cells, and these 4 daughter cells, it bears haploid set of chromosome number. That means it will have only 23 chromosomal pairs in both the male gametes and the female gametes. So this normally takes place during the meiosis cell division, which forms the male gametes and the female gametes from the parent mother cells. And when these male gametes and the female gametes, they fuses with each other, then it forms a resultant cell, and this resultant cell is called as the zygote. In the resultant zygote, the paternal and the maternal chromosomes are present, and these chromosomes together, it expresses the characters of an individual. That means for a particular character, there will be 2 chromosomes. The chromosomal pair which bears the same characters in a cell are called the homologous chromosome. So this homologous chromosome, these are contributions from both the paternal gamete and the maternal gamete. That is why while writing the genes, we always write it in diploid form. Alleles, and the present word for alleles is called as the genes. So Mendelian factors or genes or alleles, it occurs as the contrasting pair such as dominant, which is expressed in capital T, and recessive, expressed as small t characters for the tallness of the plant and dwarfness of the plant. So this pair of contrasting characters is called as the alleles. These alleles, these are present on the chromosome which expresses a particular part, and in every individual it can occur either in dominant form or in recessive form. Alleles are of 2 types, that is homozygous alleles and heterozygous alleles. When the alleles are identical, such as T or small t for a particular character, it is called homozygous. As we know that for a tall plant, the alleles present on for the character tallness is T, and this T, it is present on the homologous pair. So if both the chromosomes in the homologous pair, it possesses T for tallness or small t for dwarfness, or other such alleles such as R for round, small r for wrinkled. So if the alleles in both the homologous pair it is same, then this is called as the homozygous alleles. In very simple words, homozygous, it means homo means same, zygous, it has come from the word zygote. That means when the male and a female gamete it fuses, the zygote, it will have the chromosomes, one from the paternal side and the another from the maternal side. That means one from the father and the another from the mother for the same character. And when these two alleles they are identical, such as capital T or small t, capital R or small r, then it is called as the homozygous allele. So homozygous individuals. Then comes the other word heterozygous. So hetero, it means different. So when the alleles are of contrasting type, such as capital T, small t, that means when the male and the female gamete it fuses with each other, then the one which is coming from the father, it may be either dominant or recessive. That means it may be either capital T or small t. Or from the mother, it can be either small t, capital T or small t. So father and the mother, they have different alleles for the same character. So such an example, it is what capital T and small t. Here both the alleles they are different, and such type of allele forms, this is called as heterozygous. Heterozygous alleles or heterozygous individuals. I hope all of you have understood these two terms. Now next come to the genotype and phenotype. Genotype. The genetic makeup of an individual for a particular character is called as genotype. For example, capital T is the genotype for tall, small t for dwarf, and capital T small t is the genotype for the character tall. And phenotype, this is the visible or observable appearance of an individual with regard to one or more character is called phenotype. For example, tall, that is the phenotype. Dwarf is the phenotype because these are observable. If a plant is tall, then we can see it with our naked eye. If a plant is dwarf, then we can see it with our naked eye. So any character which gets expressed, so that expression and the expression which is visible, that is only called as the phenotype. So these are the two important terms which will be used during the study of inheritance. So let me conclude it with the term inheritance, which is a part of the title of the chapter. So inheritance is the process by which characters or traits pass from one generation to the next generation, and this we can understand with this terms DNA, which is the micromolecule or microbiomolecule, and in the DNA is present the genes. This DNA, it makes the chromosome, which is the hereditary material, and the chromosome, it is present inside the nucleus of an eukaryotic cell. So this is all about the today's class. If you have any doubt, please try to clarify your doubts.